Hey y'all, it's VJ.
It's Jay.
And this is
A Sip
and a Shot. Woo, 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 woo. Today we have Ashley and Gennifer. Ashley is our nurse practitioner and Gennifer is our dental hygienist. And we will be talking about sex and
misconceptions
with them today.
Yes.
They are experts. We're going to say that they're experts.
So excited.
Yes.
But first,
we have to do a sip and a shot.
Our shots are called Ankles in the Air.
Because this is during our month of love and Valentine's Day
and self-love. If you ain't got no bae, you can love yourself.
You guys ready for our cheers?
Yes.
Good. Cheers to the bad. Cheers to all the things we wish we had.
Cheers. And these happen.
Tink, tink.
Not bad. Not bad.
Woo. That wasn't bad. Was I supposed to drink that all at once? That was a lot.
It's okay. You don't have to.
No pressure here.
No.
It's like, at least you drink it.
Woo.
And the ankles in the air. This is a shot Jamie chose. I'm gonna put it out there. It's a shot.
Did
that
I
Jamie
say the
chose.
name wrong?
Ankles in the air.
Okay. I thought I said something else in the air. I don't know what I said.
Ankles in the air. So this has orange vodka.
Rum.
It does have rum too?
Yep.
It does have rum. Pineapple juice and
orange juice and peach schnapps.
So I don't know if you guys taste a little hint of
Everything.
Yeah, I tasted everything. Like it was good.
Everything.
Like taste buds were going off. So
because as you know,
tropical though.
We don't taste that before either, so we don't know what it's going to taste like. So thank you for trusting us.
Yeah, things get real dicey on this podcast. Especially if they're not good. We're like, not drinking that no more. Okay, so now for our sip. You want to introduce this one?
You go for it.
This one is called a tight snatch.
Ew.
Ew. So cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Cheers. Clink,
Cheers.
I like
Is this giving you like vacation, like Bahamas, kind of like tropical?
I need
tropical
with my bikini.
Yes.
Laid out.
This is giving this.
Look.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
This is good. This is
I like that. Ooh, okay.
rum, peach schnapps, cranberry juice, and pineapple juice with a little lime garnish on the side.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, this could definitely be finished in like 10 minutes tops. Like
Mm-hmm.
That's always the issue. We're like, did we make more?
We did
Yeah.
enough.
really good.
It is really.
What can we do? All right, so let's
dive right on in.
get into it.
I'm excited.
You start us off, friend.
Okay, so we wanted to discuss self-love with you guys. And my first, when people think of self-love, they think of massages, facials, getting your nails done. But we wanted to take it up a notch and talk about self-love and your sexual health.
Yes.
And who better to discuss it with than a nurse practitioner who I'm remember your main thing is women's health, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And a dental hygienist. So we had to ask some spicy little questions for you guys.
Get spicy.
So let me ask you this. What are some common misconceptions that you guys, let's start with that you guys hear about when talking about sex with women, with patients, HIPAA approved, but HIPAA conscious patients and girlfriends, of course? What are some things that you guys always kind of hear or get questions about?
I would say a big one is like you can get STDs by sitting on a toilet. That's something that I hear about a lot.
Can you get an STD by sitting on a toilet, Ashley?
I definitely was told that.
For real. I feel like crabs like jump onto your cooter.
Not crabs.
No.
Oh my goodness.
It's spread through, sexual intercourse, bodily fluids, those coming in contact with your bodily fluids. So no, you can't get that. I had a patient that had I don't know, some STD. I can't remember what it was. Gonorrhea, chlamydia, name of whatever one. And she addressed her husband about it. And her husband said that she had got it by sitting on a toilet and he didn't give it to her. And that is just not
He playing with her. He is playing. Well, okay. Play devil's advocate. So, like you said, it's transmitted through bodily fluids. What if somebody leaves their bodily fluid on the toilet seat and you sit on it?
Okay. So I wouldn't, so if you're leaving something on the toilet, you're maybe leaving your urine, I would think. That's,
yeah.
No, not like your semen, not your blood, not your vaginal discharge. If anything, it's going to be urine.
Okay. So, okay.
Right? Very unlikely. Let's put it like that. Very, very unlikely.
Okay.
You said saliva.
Well, I mean, they say that you can get STDs from oral sex.
You can.
Some people spit on the toilet. Maybe if they're talking on the phone, they can spit on the toilet.
That's the part that you lost me, is the spit on the
No.
Oh my goodness.
How do we get there?
I don't think.
And see what happens.
All right. We're off to a wild start already. Jennifer, any misconceptions that you've heard or?
Misconceptions are that you can't get like herpes through kissing. Like a lot of my patients think that they can't get herpes if they kiss somebody, and that's very, very untrue. So
there it is. Saliva. Bodily fluids, baby.
Okay. That's a good one. That's a very, very good one, Jen, that people don't think about at all.
So I guess it goes for like sharing drinks too. You know, like people, I'm guessing not anymore because of the Rona.
Yeah.
But there's certain people out there in the world that like to share drinks and straws and eat after people in the same bites. And
yeah, no. All of
college. And us thinking, if you're drinking, we took a shot, it had alcohol in it, so don't worry about
the germs.
The germs that were, like if you only got a limited amount of shot glasses, like, I'll take one first on this side, and then you take it on the other side, like pour it up again. And it's like, nah, I can still get, we thought the alcohol killed everything. Just because we're drinking $7 vodka doesn't mean it's gonna die.
No, you're absolutely right. And I feel like I counsel a lot of my patients, especially the ones that do have herpes, or when I'm doing STD counseling in general, like if you ever have an outbreak on your mouth, on your vagina, you don't want, especially let's say we're talking about oral herpes, like on your mouth, like cold sores. You don't want to kiss people. You don't want to share utensils. You don't want to share lipstick. Like that's really important. I think that's something that a lot of people don't think about. And, you're young, you're having fun, you're at this bar, you're at this club, and you just want to kiss a random guy. You really should think about that, right? You should take things because you don't know what's in that mouth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you know what I say too is that like, just with like STDs in general, like some people don't even know what an outbreak looks like. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't even know that they have certain STDs. Like if I'm doing like an oral cancer screening in the patient's mouth, like I may see a herpetic lesion and they have no idea, So it's just like, you just have to be careful out in these streets because you just never know. Never know.
No, it doesn't have a face. That's the thing. Like STDs don't have a face. Like you can't look at somebody dressed up in a suit and just assume nice, clean cut, all that. You can't assume, they don't have anything because they look so nice. They present themselves well. It doesn't have a face. Anybody can have an STD and you just not know. So you got to really look out for yourself.
Good PSA.
I know, right? Because
like,
I was gonna say, do you feel like people may think they have something, but it's a fear of coming in, like that fear of I don't want to know if I have it or things like that? Do you see that? Like it took them a long time to come in because it's like I know what phase 1 of this looks like, and you're at like phase 4.
Yeah, for sure. That's a lot of people. A lot of people are scared, so they wait when it's at its worst. And at that point, it's hard. It's like we're playing catch up to something, or at that point, it's uncurable, or, we can't there's no way to manage it if you let it get to be at a point like that. So it's really important that you know your status. I understand it's scared to know your status, but I think knowledge is power in any aspect. And when you know more, you can do better. And you just have to overcome that fear and really just be accountable for your own health.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, for a crazy question, the other misconceptions that, you know, things might be said on television or on social media. Have you ever heard of anybody zapping their stimulation out of their cooter?
I'm sorry, what?
Like, okay, so you use a vibrator, right? And
Okay, yeah.
you're using it consistently over an extended period of time. And
you wearing that thing out. Okay.
You wore it out.
Got it.
And it might not come back. Is that a thing? People, the world want to know.
I have heard of you know, that, of like overstimulating your vagina.
I mean, I've heard stories of like women having to go to the hospital because they keep orgasming, they keep having orgasms, and it's like it becomes painful at that point because they can't stop. I've seen like stories about that, but like anything to do with like a malfunction with the like vibrator and you doing it to the point where you can't have an orgasm anymore. I've never heard of that. So
I was watching.
You trying to talk about, I told you.
It's a few reasons why this question came up. So I remember I was watching Sex and the City a while ago.
Oh, yeah.
I love that show.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember when Samantha said she couldn't come to an orgasm, and her friend Charlotte is like, well, I did hear about this woman. She was having orgasms around the clock, and then they just stopped. And so I'm like, okay, A, can that happen? And B, you know, being a single woman or I don't know. I'm just going to ask about single woman. Being a single woman at a certain age, you do masturbate a lot. And can you masturbate too much? Can you like masturbate too much? And then when you're with the man, the orgasm doesn't happen? Because that's a real fear for some people.
I think that's a legit fear, I guess, in the sense that I feel like as women, we know our body best, right? So we know, especially if you're self-aware and you explore and you have a healthy sex perspective on yourself, that, you know your body, you know what you like, you know how to get there, climax, orgasm. And men don't necessarily know, right? Sometimes we have to teach them. So you can get to a point where you're pleasing yourself, watching porn, using vibrator sex toys, and you're doing everything to please you. But when it's time for another partner to please you, you're not satisfied. And I think that's just a part of you having to teach them what you like. And then sometimes, mostly with porn, you have like this fantasization of what it should be. And so when you get with another partner, you're like, wait, this is not what I see on porn. So it doesn't live up to your expectations of what you think the moment should be. And then that can kind of change your perspective on it. So I think it's a lot of social issues involved with it as well.
Yeah.
So it's not you're taking it too far. It's
I just feel like, yeah, like for women in general, the way that we like orgasm, masturbate, turned on, it's different than men. Like guys don't even have to think about sex to want to have sex, but for us, it's literally like mind, body, soul. So I do have a lot of patients that come to me and they're like, honestly, like I just don't have a sex drive. Like after I had these kids, I'm not into it anymore. I don't even want to be touched. And you have to think about the person as a whole. Like, what have they been through in their life? Have they ever had any sexual trauma? Are they, just overworked and overtired? How are they feeling in their relationship? Do they feel undervalued or unappreciated? How do they feel like within themselves? Like I had a patient tell me like, I gained weight after having a baby, so I just don't view myself as beautiful. And so how I feel about myself impacts how, me wanting to be romantically involved with my husband or sexually involved with my husband. So I think it's a lot of social factors, environmental factors, and life issues that kind of really affect how women are sexual with others.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Totally agree.
For a long time, women are told not to be sexual beings.
Yeah.
And then it's supposed to just snap on. It's like, it doesn't. And a lot of times we get our knowledge more so from men than other women.
And men don't know what they're doing. A lot.
They know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't. They think.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll say from like my personal experience, like there was a time period where I was just like, sex. Like that's all I wanted to do was have sex. Like I was just all for it. But when it came to the actual act of having sex, like my mind would be somewhere completely different. Like I wasn't thinking about sex, or I wasn't in the moment, and then I wouldn't orgasm. So then I'm just like, why am I not having orgasms? Why am I not coming? Like, what's going on? And it's because like when I know now that when I'm having sex with somebody, I need to be all in it, or it's no orgasm at all. Like you're just doing it just to do it. So
right.
Yeah.
That's a lot of women too. That's definitely a lot of women. And I tell people all the time, I use this analogy, like we wake up with energy ball, like a basket full of energy balls, and that's all of our energy. But then as the day goes on, we're giving this energy ball to work, we're giving it to our kids, we're giving it to that bullshit, this bullshit. And then you come home and your man wants to have sex, and you just like, your basket is empty. So then sometimes you have to figure out different times of the day where you're going to be more energized and able to do it. And I think too, it has a lot to do with like, not a lot to do, but depending on the person, like their religious beliefs too. Because for my personal experience, like I was raised in the church. Well, we went to a private school, right? So it was all like safe sex for marriage. And I remember in high school, me and my other friend, we had like a little pact, like, oh, we're going to be virgins and never have sex until we get married, blah, blah. Obviously, I was so committed to that though. I was so
I thought it was
13, 12 and 13 years old. You're like, oh, it'll be easy breezy. Then when you hit like 18, 19, for others, 15,
when
16.
you hit 18, 19, everybody's having sex. There's no, you can't get sex. No way.
Right. And then for me, when I started having sex, I felt guilty about it. I felt kind of like, I'm supposed to be this Christian and I'm not supposed to be having premarital sex, but here I am having premarital sex. So then that in my mind, like it distorts the act of sex and like my self-esteem when it comes to like my sexuality. And so I think that can happen for others too.
It's presented like sex is just for men.
Yes.
So I know when you're younger, you don't even really like, you're not having an orgasm. Like now that you're older and you look back, you're like, no, you
weren't even close to that.
You weren't even close. But
what was I doing?
It doesn't matter because as long as he's okay, or he, you know that difference, then it's okay. But it's just different. Then it's just different.
That is so funny. No, I completely agree. And it's like you look back now that you're older and kind of more experienced, like what the hell was I doing back then? Like I thought this person was doing something, like this was nothing. Like this was child's play. Like this is not where it's at.
That ain't it at all.
That ain't.
And you just sit and you think, because I remember being younger and it's like, okay, that was it?
Yep.
Okay. You want to go again? Okay. Cool. But then when you really start getting it like you're supposed to be getting it, you're like, okay, just give me a minute. Give me like a good 15-minute rest and then I'm ready for you again. Like that kind of thing. You become more aware of your body.
Yes.
Yeah.
And asking for what. I don't like that.
Cheers to that.
I don't like it.
Cheers. Yes. Cheers to that.
That's important though. We need more of that, Jamie. Like we need more of the like I'm not feeling this. You need to switch it up. Like, I feel like a lot of times we let the men control things and like what them, but no, we need to take a stand and let them know what pleases us for sure.
I'll definitely say that, like, when I was younger, having sex, like, I didn't know something. Like, this may be TMI, but so I used to think that being moist or getting wet was a bad thing. And like, I was wet all the 24/7. Like, I'm like, what is going on? What is happening? And so for me, like, I'm embarrassed and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is too much. So I'm doing things to try to like soak it up, you know? And it's like, little do I know, like, this is supposed to happen for sex. Like, this is your hormonal right now. Like, this is. And so just like anything that would happen with like me and sexual partners that I'm dealing with, like, I would just always feel like I was doing something wrong. And it didn't take, so I probably got to about the age of like 25, 26, where it was like, no, like, I'm in control. Like, if I don't like something, you're going to know about it and you need to fix it. Like, it needs to be fixed. And, you know, yes. It's about what I need, about what I want. Like, for so long, I focused on sex and making sure that like, I was doing stuff to please a man. And it's like, no, like, we're not doing that anymore.
Presented. When you're younger, it's like, don't let him do this and don't let him do that, as opposed to just being like, you know, it's great. Make sure when you start, wait as long as you can. But when you start, make sure, you know, try this. Maybe not. I don't think my parents are going to tell me what to try, but just be vocal.
I don't think anybody's parents are going to tell them.
Be vocal about your opinion and what you like and what you don't like.
If something hurts, tell them. Don't just kind of like
suffer.
Yeah, I'm not about to suffer through no pain for you.
Jen, I want to know.
Getting older, though, you know, it's just kind
of like, right. Jen, what were you doing to stop the moisture? That's what I would like to know.
Y'all gonna embarrass me on this podcast. Y'all gonna embarrass me. Okay, so what I was doing, what I would do, this was back when I was like in high school, okay? So what I would do was like, I would use tampons because I would be so wet. Like, it was like super soaker. Like, I didn't know what to do. So I would just like try to use tampons. And like, even so, it would still be so like, you know what I'm saying? So wet. So I'm just like, right before sex, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go use the bathroom. I really have to pee. And they'd be like, okay. It's like, really, I need to go take my tampon out or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just trying to like do dumb. I didn't know. My parents didn't talk to me about sex. It was like, you're not having sex.
That's another problem too, but I'm glad you mentioned that. So other girls using their tampons that help stop the moisture will stop that and know that it's like a natural process of being sexual, you know?
Yeah.
We got to get there. Will you guys talk to your kids about sex? And like,
oh, for sure. I have to. Like, I have to.
Like how my mom did. My mom was very honest about sex. She was let me get you some books, read the books, whatever questions you have, we'll discuss.
That's really good. That's really good.
And so I go to the library every other week. I would have a stack of books.
Oh, wow.
And go through this. You remember the All About Me book? I don't know if y'all remember that one.
Yes.
We would get that and I would sit with it because she's like, you know, in case you don't want to read it with me, kind of thing.
But what age did this start for you?
What'd you say?
What age did this start for you?
I want to say about 12, 11.
Oh, okay.
What I was saying earlier, you get the purity ring and the chastity like certifications, and you're making a purity promise. That started at like 10 or 11. My friends at the time were doing them. So my mother never had that for me. She was very honest. And I remember being 15 or 16 when everyone started having sex. I'm like, Mom, I'm not having sex. It's going to hurt. And, you know, people get pregnant and, you know, it doesn't feel good for women. Let me tell you this. That's not true. It does not hurt. She said, the only thing I can say is wait as long as you can, because once you have sex, you're going to want sex all the time. And it's going to be distracting. And you want to make sure you have your head focused before that's all you want. So I was like, okay. And then when and granted, I didn't have sex when I was 15 or 16, but when I did have sex, she was right. Because you want it like all the time.
Yeah, especially when you first start, like that's all you're trying to do.
All you can think about. And all mine was, it's going to be awkward at first, but you'll grow to love it. And I was like,
oh, wow.
Okay. She wasn't like, no, don't have it. No, she was not like that at all. She was
so open and honest. And
that's a blessing that you guys had that.
That is a blessing.
The honesty level with my sister, I have a younger sister, was like through the roof. Because at 5 or 6, she's like, Mom, what's a tampon? And I was like, she's gonna give her some like crazy parental answer. She was like, okay, well, at like 5 or 6, girls have this thing called a period. And then, this is what a tampon does. When you get older, you'll get one too. And we'll talk about it then. And I was just like, what?
She was saying when she was young, this might be too much information about my mother, but whatever. Her thing was when she started her monthly, she didn't know what was happening. She thought she was dying because there was no conversation about it.
And that's such a problem. Like, why are we not having these conversations?
Like, I didn't want you to be scared. I didn't want you to be, be somewhere and it happened and you not know what to do. Like, we're going to practice. I remember her telling me, oh, this might be too much information, but she had given me pads just to practice with when I was like 12. So if you're at school and this happens, like you're prepared. And so my dad would take the trash out, every morning. So he like rushes and wakes her up like, has she started her period? What's going on?
Oh my goodness.
Like, okay, no, she hasn't, but we're practicing. So she was just like, you need to wrap it, just like, because it's not to say this. But she's, just teaching that part of it. So it's not like, she was like, I just didn't want you to be uninformed or get your information from someone else.
I was like, girl.
So good. My mom, she was always just like, kind of like, you better not be having sex. That's pretty much the whole stance was. And then when I started my period, she gave me a book about periods, right? I'm reading the book. I'm all interested about the book. And I remember going on vacation and I had started my period. And we were on vacation, so I wanted to get in the pool. So I wanted to wear a tampon. I'm like, Mom, show me how to use this tampon. And she's like, Ashley, it's a hole down there. You just put it in the hole. Like, you got to figure it out.
No way.
He would not show me. He would not show me how to put a tampon in. And I'm just in the bathroom, like trying to feel. I'm like, I remember I wasn't able to get it because I was pushing up a hole and I was like, it hurts. Like, this might not be the right hole she's talking about. And then I go home and I had like a mirror, looking in the mirror of my vagina, trying to understand like what hole was she referring to. And it just was like, I had freaking no idea. And like, it's so funny. One of my best friends, she literally just started using tampons like last year. And she was just like, oh, I don't know. I'm so scared to put it in. And I literally was in the bathroom with her and like pretty much helped her put that thing in. And I was just like, Dad, like, I wish my mom would have did this for me. Like, I had to freaking figure it out. And I think I just don't think our kids should have to figure it out like that. Like, I know for me and my child, granted, it may be just because of my background being like a women's health nurse practitioner, but even outside of my background, I think all parents should be like this. I feel like we need to like educate our children, give them the tools. And if we give them the tools and they still have questions, we should be there to help them. And if we don't feel like we are equipped to help them, send them to someone who can. So like, I have parents who send their children to me for like sexual education and all that stuff because they're maybe uncomfortable about it or they want to make sure they have the correct information. And I applaud those parents that do that for sure.
Yeah, that sounds very traumatic. I'm so sorry that you had to go through that.
Like, how do I put this tampon in? Like, I don't understand. It hurts. Like, it was a mess. I was in the bathroom like, Mom, please help me. And just like, no, Ashley, figure it out.
For a long time, I thought since we're letting it all out, toxic shock syndrome. I thought like if you put it in the wrong way, that would like activate something that was.
Do you see all the dumb things that we like think that we like? You know what I'm saying? Because no one tells us. Like, what?
Right. Thinking about it, and I remember talking to Okay. Talking to my mother later in life and telling her that, she was like, no, it's just if it stays in too long, and that can happen. Because I was like, I don't want to use it and accidentally kill myself. And that might be why I didn't have sex for a long time. Because I was like, way, like it could activate something and just
and
like,
that's it.
Shock me. I'm like, what is that worth it? Is it worth it to me?
I'm ready for that. I haven't lived my life out fully.
Right. Like, I'm okay.
I need more time.
That's funny. That's so fun. We have so many like misinformed ideas about stuff, and it's so crazy. If someone would have just educated us and told us, how much more better off we'd be. But we have learned.
And we would be way better off, and we would make smarter decisions. Like, so I would have made so many different decisions, but it is what it is.
It is what it is, right? All learning is, but for our future, you know, our future kids, nieces, nephews, whatever, we're able to like tell them from our experience and our knowledge which path they should go in and help them be more well before they make any rash decisions.
Yeah. So speaking of these misguided ideas, I don't know if y'all have TikTok, but on TikTok, there's a lot of videos about making your vagina feel better, taste better, wetter, and people are getting like, there's like this melty thing. I don't know what it is. These girls, these young
it's
folks,
like the gas station pills.
Yeah, they have like the pink pills. There's like melts that you can stick in there that like make it taste better.
I'm sorry, you said milk? What was it?
Like I keep wanting to say candy melts, but it's not candy melts.
Like, melts.
No, it's like it looked like a little piece of wax, and the girl was like, you just put it in there, and then it like melts down or something, and it's supposed to make you taste better. You should be putting random things in your vagina, but here you are. Let's
ask. Well, Ashley, I want to ask you, like, do those things work? What could be the long-term effects of it? And for Gennifer, I'm sure you have male patients. Like, does that create something in their mouths also? Like, is that a crazy question? Or
not crazy?
Yeah, it's not crazy.
Girls will put anything in their vaginas, and it's just like, no. Like, honestly, and I was taught, like, our vaginas are self-cleaning ovens. We literally don't need to do much to make it as like fresh and pristine as it needs to be. And now, does your diet affect how you taste and, you know, your type of discharge and stuff? For sure. So if you want to have a healthier diet, a healthier pH balance, if you consume foods with more like acidity. So that's why people say like eating pineapples and fruits and stuff like that, that can help your vaginal pH and make you have your vaginal discharge taste better. Sure, right? But like all this extra stuff with, I don't know what you were talking about, the wax or something. I don't know about that. And I know for at least, you know, our women's health practitioner governing board, they don't recommend such products as those. If anything, I think that will help disrupt your pH balance, creating more situations like bacterial vaginosis, yeast infections, and vaginal irritation. So I would try to stay away from that and like things that are more natural, like starting with your diets. You know, eating healthier foods, not processed foods, not trash foods, not fast foods, you know, that can for sure help. Not douching, not smoking cigarettes. Because if you think about it, you can do all of this waxing, whatever stuff, putting just weird shit up your vagina. But if you are not living a healthy lifestyle, it's not going to change anything. So yeah, start there.
They're called Femile, I guess is how you pronounce it, and they're vaginal moisturizers. And it says that you're supposed to put the suppository into your vagina using clean hands in the applicator and allow about 10 to 15 minutes for the oils to melt, supplying long-lasting moisture. And there's a bunch of different flavors like peach and like strawberry kiss and
wow.
chocolate.
You have me up until the flavors. So for my patients that do have vaginal dryness, I do recommend vaginal moisturizers, daily vaginal moisturizers. I have not heard of that particular brand, but usually the ones I'll do is like called Replens or Replens or I can't think of the other ones, but Replens is the first one. But it's like non-scented,
non-flavored.
Yeah, not flavored. And I feel like when you add those additives, that can disrupt the pH balance. So I would watch out for that. But I would have to look that particular brand up. The whole flavors thing kind of throws me off because usually when you add scents and flavors and stuff, you can have a problem disrupting the pH balance. But vaginal moisturizers in general, like as a whole, I'm actually for. I think if you suffer from vaginal dryness.
Yeah. I mean, my take on your vagina shouldn't taste like strawberries. It should taste like vagina. Like what? Why are we saying strawberries, kiwi, watermelon? Like, no, it shouldn't be any of that. Like, it should taste like vagina. So
the education part of it, where it's like all you hear is guys talking about your vagina is supposed to taste sweet or it tastes like candy. And if you don't know that your vagina is gonna taste like vagina, then you're gonna put random stuff in there. People might be sticking fruits and Skittles and stuff in there trying to sweeten up the taste.
Skittles. Yeah, no, people do put random stuff up there.
Oh wow. It's gonna be
a wild time down there. Not a good one.
You should do that. Like, just like what Jen said, you're right. It should taste like vagina. And I think that's a part of it being misinformed, thinking that your vagina should have a particular taste or a particular smell. Like, it's to you, it's yours. Now, if it's foul, like, but then these words are subjective, right? Like what's foul to you could be normal. I have like people coming to me every day talking about, wait, I'm having too much discharge or this and that. And I'm like, wait, actually, this is actually normal so it could be normal for you. But I think that's also a part of just knowing your body too.
Yeah.
You should get help, like go to the doctors to find out.
Yeah, definitely. Like, your hygiene needs to be kept. Like, you need to have full body hygiene intact. And if you don't, like, then that's when you can run into problems. And I know for me, because when you ask me about men, I think like their biggest problem that they have is that they don't keep good oral hygiene. So it's just like all the nastiness in your mouth, you may be putting that into a woman's vagina. And it gets really bad. And it's just like, for me, when men come in, they have wives, fiancés, girlfriends. I'm like, how does she even kiss you with this mouth? Like, how is this? Why? But it's just, it's education. It's like when I educate my patient, like, this is what you need to be doing because what you currently have is not okay. So, but yeah, like build up, like some people just don't even brush their teeth, which you guys would maybe think that's crazy, but some people really just don't even brush their teeth. And what that looks like. What's the next question? What's the next question?
Really good to believe it's like at least once a day.
I mean,
baby,
but that's everybody wants it. But you don't think about what the person's mouth
where I was
like.
gonna go. That's where I was gonna go because when you're younger, it's like for some people it's steps. Like, okay, I'm just gonna do this only before we go to then you wait for sex a little bit longer. But anything but.
Yeah.
But after a night of drinking and buffalo wings and cheesesteaks and chicken wings from hip hops,
like you don't know what.
And then like, oh, can I come through? Yeah, are you coming over tonight? Yeah, come on over. You're not making sure they brush their teeth, hit it with a little bit of Listerine,
or they might have thrown up outside the bar. And
oh my goodness,
people that throw up and want to go smooth.
This sounds like a wild night. This is giving wild night vibes.
Towson was a wild place. We had to do a lot of things in college. And some people might have thrown up and go straight for the kids. But I think like you don't think about the dangers of somebody's mouth. You only think about down there.
Like or like you were saying, herpes in the mouth. Like you know about it, but you don't think I don't think it can happen to me or it won't happen to me. That's and it's like
talk about stress. Girl, you just stress me out talking about men.
And you're so drunk, you can't even smell their breath. You like, if you were sober, you would be like, you know what? No, sweetie.
No, that's the first thing I look at is teeth. Like I've even before I was a hygienist, like first things first, let's get to this mouth. Like off the break. Like what's the mouth working with? Because I can't. I just can't.
It's funny because my best friend has she has a tooth thing. She has a teeth thing where if a man's teeth doesn't look good, and this is when we were younger, and at first I was like, oh, because she has braces, so she paid a lot of attention to teeth. But even as an adult, she's like,
no,
his teeth not right. Girl, we keep his mouth shut for what he here for. Like,
oh my goodness.
I'm a teeth person too. I love a good set of nice.
I love a good smile. So that's the first thing that's going to attract me to you is your mouth. So,
and it kind of sucks though, like just from a practical perspective. Sometimes what is fun about sex is the spontaneity, is like the thrill, and so for you to have to be like, wait a second, before we do this, I need you to brush your teeth. It kind of like, damn, now I gotta go freaking brush my teeth, but for the health of your vagina,
worth it. Because you only get one, you know.
You only get one.
Yeah, that's very true.
You know, you don't want it to hurt. You want your shit to be good.
For real. For real.
Oh my God. This conversation.
And I think about that too. Even like if you are the type of person to have oral sex and then kind of go into sex, making sure that your mouth is clean when you perform oral sex, because then you know that, and you want the penis to be clean too. Obviously, all of that's going in your vagina. See, it's just like as women, we just are really subject to a lot of bacteria from your mouth, from our mouth. It's just the petri dish for stuff. So we got to take care of her.
Yeah,
making me question a lot of things.
I'm sure. I'm sure. So another question that is two questions that popped up. One is like a funny one that I think we always think about when we're younger, and then the older you get, you're like, it don't matter that much. But does penis size matter?
Yes. Yes, it matters.
Individual, Jen, why do you say yes?
I say yes because you need to be able to hit something for me to orgasm. If your penis is too small and I don't feel anything in a certain spot, then we're not doing anything. It doesn't matter how well your quote unquote stroke is or whatever, it's just not doing. Or if your penis, on the other hand, is too big, I'm in pain. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't, like, you think you're doing something. No, I'm literally running because your penis is too large, you know? So I think size does matter. And it's not like, oh, he got to be super big. Like, no, like, but size, it definitely matters.
All I want is a big dick. And it's like, you know what?
Until you meet one.
I mean, I do love a big dick. Like, let's not say that I don't. Because I do, but I'm just like, size is definitely a factor in sex.
Like a yacht, not a cruise ship or a canoe. You need a nice size boat.
Yeah, that's a very good analogy.
I was gonna say it's a good analogy. I like that analogy. But I agree though.
You said what?
I said I disagree. I don't think that you have to have I don't think size is everything. I think if the person knows how to work with what they have.
Have you had a small penis before, Ashley?
Reflecting,
Have you had a small penis before, Ashley?
I have. It wasn't like the
child. No, you haven't. You a liar.
What you talking about?
And at the time, I thought it was like, oh yes, like he's working, like blah blah, like he knows what he's doing. Everything is great. This penis is great. But then reflecting on what I have now back to what I had then, it was like that was like frivolous. But he used what he had and he made it work for him. And I applaud him for that. And I think that for other girls,
not applaud him.
Yeah, I don't think it's all about size.
Okay. I think it's a fine line.
It's not that fine. It's like a good size line. It's a good size line between what can be pleasurable, what can be not pleasurable, and what can be dangerous.
Just not dangerous. Oh my goodness.
So I opted out for fear. I'm just gonna be honest. I opted out because I wasn't I didn't have that much experience. And
just like, no thanks.
No, yeah, I was just like, no, thank you. And that was it for me. And I was okay with that decision. Now I'm like, you probably should have tried it out just to see what it was like. But
let me tell y'all the story that I had. This goes to me being inexperienced and not knowing much about sex.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was a little bit younger, it was probably the first couple times I was having, because wasn't having that much sex. So it was like the first couple times, and I was having sex with this guy, and his penis, I wouldn't say it was small, but it was on the lower scale of the penises that I've seen. So as we were having sex, it kept slipping out. And it's like slipping. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, is it me? And what am I doing wrong? Okay, like, let me make sure I'm staying low. Like, let me make sure when I'm hooked. Like, I don't, because he's like sucking, like he's getting upset because it's like slipping out. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can't let it slip out again. And it keeps happening. So I'm just like, and he's getting frustrated, and I'm thinking that it's like me, and he's making it seem like it is me. And so little did I know, it's like, it's your dick and it's your size and it's not my fault. But you know what I'm saying? Like these are the things that like I didn't know about sex because like no one told me anything about it. So as I'm doing it, I'm thinking I'm doing something wrong. And then this is making me feel shameful because I'm like, I don't even want to have sex anymore because I don't know what I'm doing. But you know, it's just like, it's all a big misconception.
I'm too wet. I'm too wet. And it's like, because it's slipping out, you're too wet. And it's like, no.
What? Who says that?
That's not it.
You're right.
Thank you for your service.
Exactly.
Gotta go now.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't even know how long we've been doing this for. It's been a great conversation.
This has been a good conversation.
But I did want to know, do you guys have any crazy
before we go into that, just because I'm loving the lessons. Okay. Before we get to that, contraception.
Oh yeah. Okay.
A big thing was that I had a question about was dental dams. Do they work? Do they not work?
Do people use them?
Do people really use them?
Where do you get them from? Can you just use Saran wrap? Because I don't know if y'all seen Booty Call back in the day, but he went wrapped his whole body because he didn't know what a dental dam was. The first time I heard of it was watching that movie. And I was like, that's interesting.
Yep, that's so true. I do like that movie though. Yeah, so dental dams is a thing. Now, can I say that a lot of people use it? I can't say that a lot of people use them anymore, but I do. Actually, I just had a patient the other day and she uses them. She's in a same-sex relationship. And it is something that I encourage all of my same-sex relationship women, just because we talked about herpes. So if you're performing oral sex, that's the main sexual intercourse that you have. I think that's important to use dental dams as protection for you and for your partner. There are different types. So there's this one brand, it's fairly new, maybe a couple of years. I can't think of the name, but people don't like dental dams just because it's very noisy. It can be like a mood.
Yeah.
But there is a type that's supposed to be like more quiet and just more comfortable. I can't think of the name, but I'll let you guys know the name so you can plug it in. But no, people still use them. It's not like the fad thing to do anymore, but some people still use them. You can get them from, where you get condoms. So like Walgreens, Walmart, Target, any drugstore.
But I will say, like, the vast supply of it, like, if you want variety, you would need to go to like a sex store, because even if you go to those CVS's, Walgreens, Walmart, it's like one. It's like one on the shelf. Yeah, you're not really gonna find like a whole bunch.
I had to ask that because we had been talking about contraception and that came up, and it's like, I think it was brought up in high school, like how to use it and things like that.
My high school, well, before I got to high school with y'all, my high school ain't teachers none of that. We ain't have no sex ed.
What was that, Ashley? What was that class we had to take freshman year?
I was about to say, did we have sex ed in high school? I don't remember.
It was called something like.
And it wasn't purity class.
It was like a purity class, but it wasn't called purity class.
We had a religion class with that religion teacher. Were we in the same religion class? I feel like we were.
I don't think. Yes, we were. But
yeah,
we were. That wasn't sex ed. But okay.
Yeah. Question, because I didn't go to private school, but you guys keep talking about this purity class, purity stuff. Like, did the boys have this too, or is this just for the girls?
We went to all girls school.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't know if like an all private boys school, like the boys that went, like if they had that at all, if they had anything like that, or.
That's a good question.
I wonder if they did. Probably not. The world is so sexist.
Yeah, it's just like, what?
Yeah.
Why are you teaching our girls purity and the boys nothing? Like,
yeah, that's what they teach women. It's like Bridgerton. Sorry, Bridgerton is my show.
Oh yeah, that was really good. I love that series.
How it's like these certain women, the ladies away from men, and you can't be in the company of a man by yourself. But the fathers, sons, uncles, and brothers are at the brothels.
Yeah.
And the girl don't even know what masturbation is. Granted, she was young. And like, he had to be like, this is what you don't know what I'm talking about. You've never like touched yourself. And she's just like,
and she was taken aback when he said that. She was like, touch myself. Like, what? What are you talking about? Like, girl.
Like travel to now, you know?
Yeah.
Same thing. Boys just do whatever. I went to a co-ed school before going to an all-girls school, and we didn't have no sex ed class. Period.
We had public schools, no?
No, I went to public school, and we definitely had a sex education class. It's like a 30, it was very short. Like, I know that whatever it was very minuscule to the other classes that we, ever had to take. But we definitely had a sex education class.
Yeah, I think I was PE, like gym class. Boom. Set a gym today. We're talking about
yeah, a lot of public schools do that too. Yeah, I can see that.
We had I think we had to watch The Miracle of Life, and we had sit down conversations. And it wasn't about sex, but just things in relationship kind of things. And it was only for half a semester, and it would be every other.
It's a
few of the classes, but and going to a Catholic school, abstinence is teach. It's not this.
It was no alternative.
There was no alternative other than abstinence.
Yeah.
So,
Did you guys have any pregnant girls?
We did have one pregnant girl, y'all. She left because she got pregnant. I can't remember who she was, but I remember she had left and she went to another school.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the one I thought of. I feel like our senior year people got pregnant, but we were seniors at that time. They were leaving, so it didn't really matter.
We thought they were pregnant at prom, but we didn't.
Right.
So
Oh,
afterwards. Okay. But because you had to leave. And we didn't understand why you had to leave, but then I was talking to one of them.
Oh, wait, time out. So if you get pregnant, they make you leave?
You're no longer in the school. You're not walking around the school pregnant. You're going to an alternative school.
Oh my God, that's a little crazy to me. That's isn't that crazy?
Wasn't it they said
they said it was a safety thing, they're walking up and down stairs and
so you want me to walk up and downstairs at another facility, just not at yours? Like what?
Insurance reasons, for sure.
Yeah. But no, it was, you gotta, and going to a private school, you're afforded that, you're gonna afford that.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I remember when I was looking at different schools before going to Seton, I went to one school that had a daycare. And it was shocking to me because I had already gone to a private school. So,
Yeah.
Okay, duh. Yeah, there's teen pregnancy, so
that's the thing.
Blade had a daycare. The school across the street from our school, it was a public high school, like huge fortress, and they had daycares for their students. I remember being on the bus and like seeing their students like with their kids, and I'm like, wow, this is wild. Like, it's crazy. Like, we live in another world going.
Yeah, there was definitely two different worlds.
Away.
In that little fence,
it was just
a whole nother island.
Yeah.
So are you guys going to put your kids in private school?
Yes.
I want to do a combination of both. I want to do
I'm thinking both, but
it's private. But then it's a lot of money. Like, I look back and I'm like, how did my mom do this? Like, it's a lot of money, especially if you have multiple children. Because I'm trying to have like 3, 4, and to try to all of them, and I just don't know.
I think there's a difference between, like, I went to a parochial school that was from K through 8. So I did that and then went to Seton. So I definitely would put my child in a parochial private school. Those aren't as expensive as private schools. So.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards like when they're younger, putting them in a private school because the education and everything that they get is going to be better. But as they get older, I'm okay with a public school. But I've just seen, because it's like at the end of the day, like I went to public school for everything and we ended up at the same university. So you know what I'm saying? It's like, my parents didn't have to pay anything and your parents did, and we ended up at the same place. So
what county did you, because my roommate was the same way. It's funny because my roommate was the same way. She went to school in Montgomery County, Howard County. She went to a Howard County high school, and I had to explain to her, and I'm not sure what county school you went to.
I'm from Pennsylvania, so I didn't go anywhere in Maryland. Yeah.
So,
no offense.
No offense.
You're not gonna be offended on this side of the conversation.
And I was telling her Howard County public schools are very different from Prince George's County public.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and that's it definitely depends on where we live as well. Like it's factors. It's definitely factors. So.
And so now she's had a child and she's a teacher.
Uh-huh.
And she called us and she said, "You guys, I'm putting my child in private school." We were like,
because she came on and that's hard.
Hard. She's like, "I just don't understand." And we're like, "You didn't," and she's not from Maryland either.
Yeah.
So she
okay.
So she transferred into Howard County schools. And Ashley will tell you, Howard County schools and PG County schools are very different.
I'm not even from Maryland, and I know the difference. So yeah.
So she's like, and she doesn't teach in Howard County, but the county she does teach in, she's just like, my child is not.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, okay.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that were gonna leave private school and go to public school for high school, but then that was the same year that there was I think a couple of shootings at one of our local schools, and everybody private school, and I was like, "Yep, I'm gonna stay where I'm at."
If I could find like a good, decent public school, I think I will do a public school for like high school. But if I'm in PG County and my child can't, I mean, honestly, thinking about PG County, I feel like the only decent school is maybe Wise. And so if my child can't go to Wise, then maybe I would have to consider private. But I mean, I enjoyed my private school experience. It's just that I think for some people it can make them, for some people it can break them. Like I went to private school all of my life. I did K through 8 in a private school and then went to Seton for 4 years. So when I went to BCU, I was like, yes, I'm free. But like, me as an individual and like how I was brought up, I was able to handle that freedom. Like I didn't go like I went crazy for me, but like it was still like a confined crazy. But that I went to high school with, middle school, high school with, and they went to college and just literally like OC crazy, like you're about to die crazy. And I don't want that for my child. But I think that's also how you talk to your child, how you know, the rules and stuff that you establish in your household. So I think all that kind of comes to play.
Well, this took a nice little turn.
I know.
it's crazy, you know, though, like we're all almost, if not 30, almost 30, knocking on 30. It is crazy how the conversation shifts.
Yes.
So like children and schools and all this. And it's like
one question we had was I know there's like HIPAA rules and you can't give certain information, but did you guys have any crazy stories that you could share of like just something you've heard or something you've seen that might be like, bitch, what? I mean, other than the whole oral care thing, because that already stressed me out.
I don't know. I would have to think about that.
I feel like for me, it's crazy in the sense that like people are just so uninformed or like just not using their noggin. Like I had a patient see me for STD testing or screening, whatever. And she was telling me she's been with her boyfriend and like she saw bumps on his penis and she still had sex with him anyway. And I'm just like, why are you having
Oh my goodness.
If you see penis? So I think it just really, I don't know, just shows the educational gap and just like really highlights the fact that people are really uneducated and need education. So I literally had to say, like, if I don't care what it is you see something, don't have sex.
You see something, say something. That's the
yes, like why would you see something, have sex with him, and then go to the doctors after the fact? At this point, you got what you got. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't. It is where we are now, but it's like just knowing for future purposes. I had to really like be like, you see anything on a penis, anything, don't go down on him or have oral intercourse, and don't let him go in your vagina either. Like that's just. And you would think that people would know this stuff, right? But not everyone does.
Get the appointment. Like, let's get this checked out.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much.
You're welcome.
Baby, is your mind blown over there?
No, just it takes me some time to process a few things. And I'm like, the whole oral thing really threw me for a loop because it's not something I don't think people think about. Mm-hmm. And then it's, see something, say something. There's a lot of gems in this
there are
episode.
There definitely
for sure.
Are. We really, and it's like it's things you don't even think to ask or think about, or you do think about and it doesn't necessarily come out.
Yeah.
Keep it.
I guess to end it, do you guys have any like one piece of advice you would give our listeners or anybody out there that you want to share?
Other than brush your teeth.
Yeah. I just want to share, just always maintain your mental health. Like that's where it starts. Like once your mind is right, you're going to be able to keep yourself right. And that's like your overall health and oral hygiene. You just want to stay healthy at all times. And I know dealing with this pandemic and people losing their jobs and just the state of the world is it's really hard, but just always try to be safe and stay healthy and protect yourself.
Yes, that's good.
I agree. And kind of piggybacking off of that, it's like know your status, not only sexually, but just in all aspects of your health. I think preventative care is one of the best forms of care. So going to do your annual checkups with your primary care, your annual well women's with your nurse, your women's health provider, I think that's important to kind of know where you stand. Because then knowledge is power and you can better take care of yourself.
Yeah, that's a great way to leave it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
It's a good episode.
Thanks for having us. This was fun.
Thank you for having us. This was definitely fun.
Great. We're glad you guys got your drinks and enjoyed your drinks.
Yeah. I finished.
Like this? I can't wait to tell my friends about this.
Out though, we got drinks for days. Okay. You want to close it out?
Yes. Thank you. Thanks again, guys. It's VJ.
It's Jen.
This is a sipping.
Yeah. How do we end this? Okay.
It's been so long.
It's been a while. Disclaimer. It's been a while.
It's VJ.
It's James.
And this is
A Sip
and a Shot.
Bye.